Welcome back, curious legal minds, to Lexdiscuss Cafe. This is the second part of our interview with Mr. Aman Yadav, who is currently working as counsel at OLX Global. If you haven't tuned into the part 1, fear not, we'll hold the verdict on this fascinating conversation until you catch up. Just follow the link in the description. In the first part, Mr. Yadav sheds light on his career journey and skills to excel in a corporate legal department. Buckle up because today we are diving headfirst in the hottest topic in the legal sphere, generative AI. We will explore the potential of tools like ChatGPT for streamlining corporate legal tasks. We will also play a very interesting rapid fire round with Aman in full Karan Johar style. So Aman, now let's get into the heart of this podcast. When the ChatGPT came out, what was your initial impressions there?
Initial impression was to totally ignore it.
Right.
Initial impression was that another gimmick. I don't know how I'm going to use it. It's not helpful. It's not going to make my life easier. This seems like another way of promoting a software which does not do much.
And then, did your impression change or do you hold the same view?
It changed totally.
Okay.
When one day I put in a request into ChatGPT just to test it out. So I had a legal team member, a junior level lawyer, whose entire job was to send reminders for car registration transfers to dealers.
Right.
Just to send that letter to them or something similar. I'm forgetting. Very routine, very clerical. Just you have entered data and you send the letter. One day I was sitting in my room, I put it on ChatGPT. It asked me the car registration number and a few details. And within a few seconds, it started typing. So first I was very amused. I thought some very poor result is going to come out.
Right.
It's going to be nonsensical. And suddenly I see that letter typed out in maybe 10 seconds. I'm exaggerating it, maybe less than that. It was so quick. And it was beautiful. It was way better than what that junior used to do.
Right.
And then I realized this is helpful and dangerous because if I show this to our business team, they'll quickly tell me, then what do you do?
Right. No, absolutely. But, you don't really need to worry because as I keep telling everyone that AI is not going to replace the lawyers. Lawyers using AI will replace other lawyers. Now, what has happened is because we are also grappling with it on all the processes that we are doing here internally. What I'll tell you is that what AI is doing is now status quo. If you're doing as good of a job as AI is doing, then you're producing no value whatsoever. So the best step would be to start what AI is doing and then start adding value to it. Because what happens is we are humans, right? How many pages can we read in our whole lifetime? If you really think about it, it's not going to be somewhere more than like 15,000 or 20,000 pages. But for an AI, it's a matter of minutes, right? When it comes to reading a lot of data and coming up with something short, that's something AI can do really well, right? So let it do that. Now let's start adding value on top of it. So that's, I think, is a sure shot way of beating AI and staying relevant. That's what we are trying to do. Because my organization also started when AI didn't exist. And now a lot of the work that I used to do is being done by AI. And to be honest, part of these interviews questions are also generated by AI, right? No, the thing is, right, if the AI is doing a better job at me, I would be like, I would be benefit me if I said, okay, I will not use it because it's not generated by me.
Doesn't that kind of mean that people who are older
Right.
reached a certain level where they don't need to do the basic work?
Right.
They are safe. And it depends. I mean, I don't know. I'm just thinking out aloud.
Right.
But people who are just graduating, interns, that work which I would give to an intern or to a junior lawyer who's 1 or 2 years out of law school,
Right.
that can be done by AI. So for them, it's pretty dangerous. For me, it's not because people still need me.
Absolutely. So see, this is what the scare that I'm getting, right? So now the thing is that, people keep saying that, okay, it will not replace lawyers, right? But in a lot of ways is replacing people we used to hire initially who would spend a lot of time and get to my level, right? What if businesses are not hiring as many freshers as they do, right? Right now, you were also a fresher one day and you also did that, the dirty work and slowly and gradually reach to this level. So right now, absolutely, your job is absolutely safe, right? Because AI can... Right, you're saying something. Please.
That is the scary part. So I remember for the first 1.5 years, all my boss gave me were legal notices because he wanted me to learn through them. And I was very happy doing them. Became very good at legal notices. I learned a lot from them. 138 notices, section 138, basic notices, civil, criminal, kuch bhi, matlab, whatever, anything which has to be sent, I would do it. But that learning is sort of getting taken away by AI. If I can now, let's say if I have a panel for an NBFC, I have to shoot out day-to-day notices for dues recovery. I don't need a junior for it. I don't need 4 of them. I need one of them who's going to type into ChatGPT and he's going to get the result.
Right.
So that's why for them, it seems to be dangerous. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong.
Right. No. See, that's something I kind of worry of as well. And, so one of the things that, I get a lot of people saying that, the AI will never replace lawyers, but they kind of forget that how did we learn? The first step of learning is always imitation. If you have a kid, probably you will understand that, the kid starts using the words it's here around, right? And whenever we are like painting, like they will tell you to ask, like, paint anything. And that's why I'm worried about and I'm scared of the potential of the AI, because when it comes to learning by repeating, it is quite good at. In certain ways, it is much better than humans. That's what I'll say, that, like ignoring this technology would kill you, would actually kill you, right? That's what my 2 cents on it. I even tell my dad to, like, keep using it, staying updated on it. And he's a retired person now, but he says like half of his job would be obsolete if he had ChatGPT. So that's yes, exactly, please.
I mean, not just if we don't talk about legal juniors coming out of school or interns, that is prevalent even if, let's say, in government offices where you would have people like typists or clerks only typing out things, letters. Somebody would write on a piece of paper with a pen. There used to be a time when they were typewriters, type it out on a piece of paper and sign it, and then the government department will send it. So the boss would issue those instructions. Those people are gone now.
Absolutely.
And there were people who would continue to be clerks till they retired. I mean, you could be a 60-year-old clerk in, let's say, Ministry of Home Affairs.
Right.
And you would be doing the same thing and your family would survive on it.
Right.
But now you can't be a 60-year-old clerk because ChatGPT is going to do it for you immediately.
Absolutely. And if you go back to your observation, right, it should know how to write. But that's where like it's get worried, because right now, if I am being competed against, I would make certain grammatical mistake. If I am writing like 10 pages of anything, right? But ChatGPT is not going to do any of such mistakes, right? Even though it might not be as intelligent, it might not be as original, but for the mundane stuff, for the routine stuff, it's going to be substantially better. That's what I believe next decade is going to be. And for the first time, I see that lawyers would have to adapt at a rate they never had to. Other than email, if you think about it, how legal practice have been operated for the last 300 years, other than email and the legal research, more or less it's exactly the same. If you just take away online filing, it's exactly the same way Gandhiji used to practice in this, 21st century. We are operating in the same way.
So many jobs you can go away. Ghostwriting, you don't need ghostwriters. ChatGPT for you.
Absolutely.
People keep putting their nuggets of wisdom on LinkedIn.
Right.
ChatGPT
will do.
There are so many jobs which these, I don't know what to call them, but these jobs will go away.
This brings me to the next topic. I kind of have this unique role where I am interacting with lawyers as much, I am interacting with computer engineers as much, I'm interacting with marketers as much. And when I look at the level of adoption and the level of excitement in these 3 categories, I would say the lawyers are like really lagging behind. So what is your opinion on it? Like, why does that happen? And is it a good thing? And if not, how can we address it?
See, I think from the top of my mind, I can say there are 2 reasons. One is, actually both are fear related, because one is that you know that this thing can take away your job. So there are many people who are still doing very routine things day in, day out. And let's say somebody in a big company, like working in a government department, in the legal department, they're still doing very routine things. There are people you can very easily figure out that they're not doing a lot of high-level stuff, even if they're in the legal department. So if I'm there, I would never want ChatGPT to come in there. Second, I believe that lawyers always have this fear of being wrong, in the sense, wrong opinion, wrong advice, wrong advocacy. So relying totally on ChatGPT is also a little unnerving, because you don't know if it's going to be right or wrong. So it's okay to be wrong when you did it and you tried your best, but spending only a couple of minutes on ChatGPT and putting in your query and getting a legal opinion, what if it's wrong? And it has happened. I mean, there were cases in the newspaper where somebody quoted a judgment which did not even exist.
Right.
That fear of being wrong, I think, is very strong in lawyers, and that is also leading to the lack of adoption.
Makes sense. And see, this is where I see the root cause of the problem, because what happens when I am talking to the marketers, they are not that afraid of making mistakes, and for good reasons. Like, I will talk to marketers and they will say that our thing is finding that one marketing campaign which just blows everything out of the water. And they will be like, 5 to 6 dud campaigns, but it's okay as long as we are, experimenting at nice pace, that, we are able to consistently keep finding that one amazing marketing campaign. But if you look at the lawyers, they would never be happy with this equation. They will say like, we have to be right 100% of the time. And that as an external counsel makes sense. But as an in-house counsel, what are your thoughts on that?
You see, again, the same thing, even if it's not a junior level lawyer.
Right.
Say, if I'm practicing in the High Court and 50% of my work is criminal, where I'm, let's say, filing quashing petitions.
Exactly.
So I've never tried asking ChatGPT to draft a quashing petition. But what if it does that in a couple of minutes and I am in a habit of charging 50K just for drafting the first version of it? So how do I justify that money when I know that this thing is doing it for me in a couple of minutes? So those sort of things, I think, is why we lawyers are a little hesitant in adopting it and really allowing it to take over, because we're not really trying to save time. It has a lot to do with the historical way in which the legal profession has operated. I mean, it's nothing new. Like an ad campaign, because you mentioned ad and marketing, an ad campaign, you can't have the same ad campaign again and again and again. But you can have the same petition. You just have to change the dates and the facts here and there. You can have that. You can do it for 20 years.
Right. That's, I think, is to the crux of matter. Do you think that, as a legal professionals, especially the external counsels, they are not financially incentivized to be more productive? They're actually financially disincentivized to be more productive, right? Because the less productive they are, the more money they're able to charge their client or businesses.
I see it very similar to what happened when COVID had struck and people moved to online hearings. It leveled the playing field to a certain extent, in the sense that people were not going to senior lawyers or to high profile lawyers or even mid-level lawyers.
Okay.
They knew that they can hire anybody from anywhere. So people were hiring local lawyers also. Some of the matters are not rocket science. You don't need to go to a very good lawyer. You can have a very basic lawyer also prepare and argue. And a hybrid version of court hearings, online hearings, they leveled it to a certain level. I think the same thing is happening with ChatGPT. It's leveling the playing field. You don't need to really go for a very expensive, high profile or even mid profile lawyer. You can have your petition drafted by your local lawyer and he'll argue it. So I think that way it is also leveling the field, and which is why people feel it's dangerous, some of them.
Makes sense. And one of the predictions that I have for the next decade is that I believe that the biggest loss is going to be the big law firms who are charging a filthy load of money. Because I think ChatGPT and similar tools will also give a solo lawyer a benefit of having a clerk, a benefit of having a paralegal, a benefit of having a, administrative assistant who can, properly send reminders to the email. So all the benefits of working in a big law firm, when you join, you'll have like a plethora of templates, which will cover almost everything imaginable that's going to happen in this case. And you will have like a secretary, you'll have a clerk there, you'll have everything taken care of. And you just go there and you just focus on the law part. And now I think as a solo practitioners, you'll also have everything, all those benefits, right?
Absolutely.
So it would be harder for the law firms to justify their higher prices. But let's see how the prediction turns out. So now, as we're running out of the time, let's come to the rapid fire question. So you have to answer it very quickly. So the first question is, guilty or not guilty, staying up all the night to finish a legal brief?
Not anymore.
Not anymore. When was the last time? When was the last time you stayed up all night?
Last time was maybe 5-6 years ago.
It's not that late. Lucky. So, next question. Pineapple on pizza or no?
Never.
Never? Okay. Okay. If somebody asks you, are you a paper airplane champion or keyboard shortcut master? Who would you be?
Paper aeroplane champion.
Good. Okay. If your biography is written today, what would be its title?
It's interesting. Never thought about it.
See? We also ask interesting questions. People don't believe that.
So maybe it's going to say, he's dead. Bye-bye.
He's dead. But no, you're not dead. It's written today.
It's written today.
Yeah, it's written today, right now. So what will be the title of the story, your life so far?
I don't have a good answer.
You don't have to be a good answer. It has to be an honest answer.
It'll say he tried his best.
I think that's what we all can hope for. And I think that's the best title. We only have time for one last question. So, do you have any advice for aspiring lawyers who want to pursue a career like yours, especially in the generative AI era, right? What would be your suggestions?
So see, earlier I used to give advice to everybody to read a lot, but now I don't really know how good that advice is. But even with ChatGPT, you will still need to rack your brains. You will still need to do the logical reasoning to arrive at answers, whether it's law firm or in-house. It's in fact going to become tougher for them because there was a time when you could, even for basic answers, only those junior lawyers who read up, only they would be able to answer.
Right.
Now, basic information is at the tip of your hands. If you have that ready, then you will have to think about the next level. Having that information readily through ChatGPT by putting in a question and getting the answer, you need to then be very good at analyzing it and orating it. In the sense, it is not just about the written data anymore. If you have to go with a ChatGPT answer to your boss or to the business team or anybody, as a lawyer now, you need to explain it very well because they don't want to sit on ChatGPT. They don't know what to put in. So it's now going to come more on the verbal side of it, how to explain it, because now everybody has info.
Wow, great advice there. So, Aman, thanks a lot for coming on the podcast. It was really interesting, one of the best podcasts so far.
Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me.
How can we forget our listeners? Thanks for tuning in. As we need to make the algorithm gods happy, so don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more entertaining conversations on law. Until next time, keep exploring the fascinating world of law.